Galaxy Empire shocked by humanity's bold ship designs. After 3,000 years, the Grand Conclave Hall of the Galactic Empire stretched across 3 kilometers of polished crystalline floor, its vaulted ceilings disappearing into artificial nebulae that swirled with the colors of 1,000 conquered worlds. Ambassador Ashley Martinez stood at the human delegation's platform, her dark eyes scanning the assembled representatives of 847 species, each one regarding her with expressions ranging from curiosity to barely concealed contempt. 3,000 years had passed since humanity's last appearance in galactic affairs. 3,000 years since the Great Isolation, when Earth's governments had collectively decided that the galaxy's rigid hierarchies and Byzantine politics were not worth the cost of participation. Now humanity had returned, and the galaxy was about to learn why isolation had made them stronger, not weaker. The human delegation requests permission to present their credential vessel, Ashley announced. Her voice amplified across the vast chamber by translation matrices that converted her words into 847 different languages simultaneously. High Arbiter Vel-Sharan, a towering crystalline being whose species had ruled the galactic core for 50,000 years, regarded her with what might have been amusement. Permission granted, though I must warn you, Ambassador Martinez. The credential vessels must conform to Imperial Design Standard 7492 Gamma. Any deviation will result in immediate rejection of your application for readmission. Ashley smiled, the expression that didn't quite reach her eyes. We're aware of the standards. High Arbiter. What happened next would be discussed in xenoanthropology classes for centuries to come. The massive viewing screens that lined the conclave hall flickered to life, showing the approach vector of humanity's credential vessel. The assembled delegates leaned forward, expecting to see another cookie-cutter design, the same sleek, efficient, utterly predictable configuration that every species had used for the past 1,000,000 years. The Empire's design standards weren't just suggestions. They were mathematical proofs of optimal starship engineering, refined across epochs. Instead, they saw the UHSS Indomitable Spirit. The ship didn't glide through space. It prowled. Where Imperial vessels were smooth and symmetrical, the Indomitable Spirit bristled with asymmetrical weapon clusters, sensor arrays that jutted out at seemingly random angles, and armor plating that looked more like the scales of some predatory beast than engineered hull plating. It didn't follow the Empire's sacred principle of form following function. Instead, it declared that function could wear whatever form humanity damn well pleased. By the ancients, someone whispered in the sudden silence. What have they done? Alex Chen, the Indomitable Spirit's captain, appeared on the communication channel. His casual military uniform, so different from the formal robes expected of ship commanders, made several delegates recoil. UHSS Indomitable Spirit requesting approach clearance. We've got a few modifications you might want to see up close. Modifications? Vel-Sharan's crystalline structure pulsed with agitated colors. Captain Chen, your vessel appears to violate approximately 473 Imperial design regulations. Your shield geometry alone is 37% more efficient than yours, Alex interrupted smoothly. Our weapons coverage is complete sphere, no blind spots. Our redundant systems have redundant systems. And our power core? He grinned. Well, let's just say we took a different approach to the whole matter-antimatter annihilation problem. Ashley watched the gallery erupt into chaos. Delegates were shouting, sensor readings were being frantically analyzed, and 3 different species military observers were having what looked like simultaneous panic attacks. Impossible, declared the Corthian defense minister, a species known for their mathematical precision in warfare. The energy requirements for those shield harmonics would require a power generation system at least 3 times larger than what your hull volume allows. You're bluffing. We're not bluffing, Ashley said quietly, her words cutting through the noise like a blade. We're demonstrating. During our isolation, humanity didn't stop innovating. We didn't stop questioning. We didn't accept that the Empire's way was the only way. She paused, letting her gaze sweep across the assembly. We found better ways. Alex's ship performed a maneuver that should have been physically impossible, a 90-degree turn at relativistic speeds without engaging conventional thrusters. The spatial distortion alone set off alarms across the Conclave's defense grid. That's That's a gravitational manipulation system, breathed a Gendari scientist, one of the galaxy's foremost experts in theoretical physics. But the power requirements, the computational complexity, it should take a vessel the size of a moon to generate that field. Should, Alex agreed cheerfully. But humanity has a funny habit of doing things that should be impossible. 3,000 years ago, you told us there was only one way to build a starship. We went home and built 17,000 different ways. The High Arbiter's crystalline form had darkened to an angry crimson. This is an outrage. The Imperial design standards were developed over millions of years of optimization. They represent the pinnacle of stagnation, Ashley interrupted, her voice hard. You optimized for conformity, High Arbiter. You created standards and then mistook them for laws of nature. Humanity optimized for survival, for adaptation, for thinking differently. She gestured to the view screen where the indomitable spirit hung in space like a promise, or a threat. That ship represents what happens when you don't accept the galaxy's limitations. When you look at the rules and ask why, instead of just accepting because. The conclave hall fell silent. Every delegate was staring at the human vessel, seeing not just a ship but a philosophy made manifest in metal and energy. It was ugly by Imperial standards, but it was magnificently, terrifyingly effective. We're not here to ask permission to rejoin your empire, Ashley continued. We're here to offer partnership. Humanity has learned that innovation doesn't come from following the path others have laid out. It comes from cutting your own trail through the wilderness. She smiled, and this time it was genuine. The question isn't whether our designs meet your standards. The question is whether your standards are ready to meet the future we're building. Velsharan stared at the human delegation for a long moment. Finally, in a voice that carried the weight of 50 millennia of Imperial authority being forced to acknowledge something new, the High Arbiter spoke. The conclave will require time to deliberate on humanity's unique approach. As Alex guided the indomitable spirit into a holding orbit, Ashley allowed herself a small smile. 3,000 years ago, humanity had walked away from the galaxy. Now they had returned, and the galaxy would never be the same. The age of conformity was ending. The age of human innovation had begun.